Hello again, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Megan Opachinski's Study Guide to the NBE. So today I have quite a treat for you, a little surprise. So you know how I used to like having guest speakers and kind of had to stop because things changed with my sponsorship and I wasn't sure what I could do or I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. Well, I have made some really wonderful friends and I've met some new people. And one of those people being Professor Darien Cain. Not only the PhD, David there that a lot of us know, but also her. And she has become not just a co-educator and helping me through things, but a friend. And she is extremely knowledgeable in this field. She knows the way she explains things is amazing. Like, as somebody who struggled with ADD herself, like as a kid, it's like I listen to how she teaches, and I wish I had her for like every class growing up. Like, I would have understood everything. So, like, all that aside though, I asked her if she would help me do the glossary. And we kind of have a conflict because she's a fan of David's glossary, but unfortunately not everybody has David's glossary yet. So I've been doing my best to finish the conference because most of y'all got the conference books when you went to school. I highly, highly encourage it. When I say that you get a discount code when you use MEG, all caps, and the number is 25, and you get $25 off each book, 2 separate transactions. If it doesn't want to work for one, you deserve the $25 off. I don't get credit for that. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that. I just fully believe in his methodology. I unfortunately can't get a discount for the DEAD program, but I'm a big fan of that as well. And I also don't get anything from that. So that should tell you how much I back his work. And Darien Cain is also, like, very, very much so a fan of his stuff as well. So we discussed the chemistry thing. She decided to do one up. Like, I can't even top what she's doing. She actually has an even more up-to-date version of the chemistry that you need to know to pass your NBE. And not only that, but she does it in such a way that you'll get it. I suck at chemistry. That is not my thing, which is why I asked her for help. I was like, I don't get it very well. I think I'm going to sound silly. And she was like, oh, I got you. But I listened to it. I loved it. And I'm hoping that she decides to do more. I told her if she wants to record anything, I let her take free reign. This is all her. So I'm just doing the intro. I'll do a quick close, maybe. And because I think she did a good one on her own. But I told her, I'm like, I'll just rip your audio, do my intro for my podcast because I have to because of my agreement with something. And it's yours. If you want your own season, you can have it. Just anything to help my listeners. So anyway, as I like to say, I'm going to stop. Without further ado, I'll let Professor Darien Cain take it away with chemistry. Okay, guys?
Hello, everyone. This is your guest host today, Darien Cain. I'm an assistant professor for the State University of New York, otherwise known as SUNY Canton, in the Funeral Services Administration program. I'm also a New York State licensed funeral director in the northern part of New York. Today, we're going to go over the glossary for thanatochemistry, and you need to know these terms. Thanatochemistry is incredibly important and lays the foundation for everything we know in embalming, how our chemicals work, how the body decomposes, and all of that good stuff. So make sure that you know these terms. We are using the complete guide to the science section of the National Board Exam for Funeral Services, written by Dr. David Penepent. And the glossary for thanatochemistry starts on page 86. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Accessory chemicals. Any chemical used in the preparation of human remains that is not for injection into the arterial system or cavities. Acids, substances that yield hydrogen ions in an aqueous solution. Adipocere or grave wax, a wax-like material produced by saponification of body fat. Alcohols, and organic compounds containing one or more hydroxyl groups. Hydroxyl groups are OH groups, oxygen and hydrogen. Aldehyde, an organic compound containing one or more CHO groups. Amides, derivatives of carboxylic acids in which a hydroxyl group is substituted with an amine or ammonia having the general formula of RCONHR. And each R is going to vary depending on what that amide group is attached to. Amine, an organic compound containing nitrogen with the general formula of RNH2. Amino acid, the building blocks of proteins that contain an amino group, NH2, and a carboxyl COOH group. Amphoterism, any compounds that can act as both an acid and a base in an aqueous solution. Remember, aqueous means with water. Anticoagulant, chemical agent that retards or slows the tendency of the blood to become more viscous. Anticoagulant chemicals are also water conditioning agents. Arterial fluid, concentrated preservative chemicals used primarily for arterial embalming. Arterial solution, a mixture of arterial fluid and water used for arterial injection with the possible inclusion of supplemental fluids. Atom, the smallest particle of an element that has all properties of the element. Autolysis, self-digestion or self-destruction of the body by enzymes. Bases, substances that yield hydroxide ions in an aqueous solution. Biochemistry, the branch of chemistry dealing with compounds produced by living organisms. Boiling, conversion of a liquid into a vapor state through the action of heat. Bond, an attractive force that holds together the atoms, ions, or groups of atoms in a molecule or crystal. Buffers, substances capable of maintaining a constant pH by neutralizing both acids and bases. Carbohydrates, a compound of hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen that is an aldehyde or ketone derivative of polyhydroxy alcohols. Polyhydroxy meaning there are multiple hydroxy groups, so multiple OH groups. Carboxylic acid or phenol, an organic compound that contains a carboxyl group. Cavity fluid, concentrated preservative chemicals used in cavity embalming. Chemical change, a change that results in the formation of a new chemical substance. Chemical properties, characteristics of a substance observed during or after a chemical reaction. Chemistry, the study of matter and the changes it undergoes. Coagulation, the process of converting soluble protein to insoluble protein by physical or chemical means. Basically, when it gets thick, starts to clot. Colloid, a solute that can pass through filters but not membranes. Combustion, Rapid oxidation that produces heat and light. Compound, a substance consisting of two or more elements combined chemically in definite proportions by mass. Concentrated solution, a solution containing a relatively large amount of solute. Concentration, the ratio of a solute to a solution or solvent, how strong it is. Condensation, a change of state of matter from a gas to a liquid. Covalent, a chemical bond formed between two atoms by the sharing of electrons. Crystalloid, a solute that can pass through a membrane. Decay, the gradual decomposition of dead organic matter by the enzymes of aerobic bacteria. Dehydration, the removal of water from a substance. Denaturation, the disruption of the breakdown of a protein by heat or chemicals. Desiccation, a complete or nearly complete deprivation of moisture. Dialdehyde, an organic compound containing two aldehyde groups. Glutaraldehyde is a 5-carbon dialdehyde. Diffusion, the movement of molecules or other particles in solution from an area of greater concentration to an area of lesser concentration until the uniform concentration is reached. Dilute solution, a solution containing a relatively small amount of solute. Disinfectant, an agent, usually chemical, applied to inanimate surfaces or objects to kill most disease-causing microbial agents, excluding bacterial spores. Dye, natural or synthetic compounds that are used to impart color to another material. Elements, simple substances which cannot be decomposed by ordinary chemical means. Embalming chemistry, the study of those types of matter and changes in matter related to the disinfection, preservation, and restoration of human remains. Enzyme, a protein that acts as a biological catalyst. Ester, an organic compound with the general formula RCOOR. Fats, a combination of saturated fatty acids and glycerol that is semi-solid at room temperature. Fermentation, the microbial decomposition of carbohydrates under anaerobic conditions. Formalin, formaldehyde gas dissolved in water, this is aqueous, at 37% by weight and 40% by volume. Formula, a symbolic expression of the chemical composition or constitution of a substance. Freezing, a change of state of matter from a liquid to a solid by the loss of heat. Gases, a state of matter that has no definite shape or volume. The hardness of water is the condition of water that results from dissolved minerals and metallic ions. Humectants, chemicals that increase the capability of tissues to retain moisture. Hydrate, a compound in which there is a union between water and certain substances when they crystallize. Hydrolysis, a chemical reaction in which a substance is broken down or dissociated by water. Hydrogen bond, a non-chemical bond that creates surface tension. Hypertonic solution, a solution having a greater concentration of dissolved solute than the solution does to which it is compared. Hypotonic is when a solution has a lesser concentration of dissolved solute than the solution to which it is compared. Imbibition, the swelling and softening of tissues and organs as a result of absorbing moisture from adjacent sources. Index, the strength of embalming fluid indicated by the number of grams of pure formaldehyde gas dissolved in 100 milliliters of solution. Inorganic chemistry, the branch of chemistry that studies the properties and reactions of elements that don't include organic or certain carbon-containing compounds. Ion, an atom or group of atoms with a positive or negative electrical charge. Ionic, a chemical bond formed between oppositely charged atoms. This is the transfer of electrons. Isotonic solution, a solution having an equal concentration of dissolved solute as the solution does when compared. Ketone, a class of organic compounds with the general formula RCOR', formed by the oxidation of a secondary alcohol. Liquid, a state of matter having a definite volume but no definite shape. Matter, anything that has mass and occupies space. Melting, a change of state of matter from a solid to a liquid by the addition of heat. Metal, an element marked by luster, malleability, ductility, and conductivity of electricity and heat. Mixture, a combination of two or more substances not chemically united and that exist in no fixed proportion to each other. Minimum lethal dose, or MLD, the smallest dose of a poison that produces death. Modifying agent, chemicals incorporated into commercial preservative fluids to meet the varying demands of embalming procedures. Molecule, a group of two or more atoms joined by chemical bonds. Neutralization, the reaction of an acid and a base to produce salt and water. Non-metal, any element that is generally dull in appearance, has a low density, has a low melting point, and is not a good conductor of heat or electricity. Oils, a combination of unsaturated fatty acids and glycerol that is liquid at room temperature. Organic chemistry, the branch of chemistry that deals with certain carbon-containing compounds. Osmosis, the passage of a solvent from an area of lesser concentration to an area of greater concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Oxide, a compound consisting of oxygen combined with only one other element. Parts per million, ppm, a method of expressing low concentrations. 1 ppm is equivalent to milligrams per liter. Peptide bond, a bond formed between a bond formed from a dehydration reaction between the amino group on one amino acid with the carboxyl group on another amino acid. Periodic table, a tabular arrangement of the elements ordered by their atomic number, electron configurations, and recurring chemical properties. pH, the measure of hydrogen ion concentration of a solution, acid-base balance. Physical change, a change in the form or state of matter without any change in chemical composition. Physical properties, characteristics of a substance that are observed and measured without a change in chemical composition. Poison, a substance capable of causing illness or death to an organism. Polymerization, a chemical reaction in which two or more molecules combine to form larger molecules that contain repeating structural units. Pre-injection or capillary wash, the introduction of a non-preservative solution to prepare the vascular system before the injection of the preservative solution. Pre-injection fluid, fluids designed to clear the vascular system of blood and enable the arterial solution to distribute more effectively. Preservative, substances used to inhibit protein decomposition and inactivate enzymes. Preservative demand, the amount of preservative necessary to properly embalm human remains. Protein, a biological component that is a polymer of many amino acids. Perfuming agent or masking agent, chemicals having the capability of altering an unpleasant odor. Putrefaction, the decomposition of proteins by the enzymatic activity of anaerobic bacteria. Quaternary ammonium compound, surface disinfectants that are generally used for disinfection of skin, oral, and nasal cavities, as well as instruments. Salt, any group of substances that results from the reaction between acids and bases other than water. Saponification, the hydrolysis of a fat and a strong base to produce glycerol and the salt of a fatty acid. Saturated solution, a solution containing the maximum amount of solute a solvent is able to hold at a certain temperature and pressure. Solid, a state of matter having a definite shape and volume. Solubility, the measure of how well a solute mixes with a solvent. Solute, a substance dissolved in a solvent to form a solution. Solution, a homogeneous mixture of one or more solutes dissolved in a sufficient quantity of solvent. Solvent, a substance that dissolves a solute in a solution. States of matter, a physical property of matter, solid, liquid, or gas. Sublimation, a physical change of state during which a substance changes directly from a solid to a gas. Supplemental fluid, fluids injected for purposes other than preservation and disinfection that will enhance the actions of the arterial solution. Substrate, the material upon which an enzyme acts. Surface tension, the molecular cohesion at the surface of a liquid forming a membrane-like layer. Surfactant, also known as surface tension reducers, wetting agents, or penetrating agents. Chemicals that will reduce the molecular cohesion of a liquid and thereby enable it to flow through smaller openings. Suspension, a solute that will not pass through filters or membranes. Thanatochemistry, the study of those physical and chemical changes in the human body that are caused by the process of death. Thiol, or mercaptan, an organic compound containing the group SH. Toxin, a poisonous substance that is organic in nature. Unsaturated solution. A solution containing less than the maximum amount of a solute a solvent is able to hold at a certain temperature and pressure. Eurotropin, the neutralization product of formaldehyde and ammonia. Vehicle, liquids that serve as solvents for the components of embalming fluids and solutions. Viscosity, the measure of the resistance to the flow of liquid. And finally, wax, a type of lipid formed from the combination of unsaturated and or saturated fatty acids and high molecular weight alcohols. That ties up the thanatochemistry terms. I hope you all go back and listen to this a couple more times. That way you really know these terms. And good luck studying.
Was that not awesome? See why I like her so much? So far, I've only done co-op with her because I kind of wanted to get her familiarized with how to podcast, because I've learned that it's a little different. Like some people, they're not as loud, or they just, it's a little bit different. You gotta kind of, instead of talking with your hands, you gotta talk with your, like, how do I, that's gonna sound really funny. Instead of talking with your hands, you gotta talk with your voice. Well, no doubt, but hopefully you get what I mean. You can't use your hands or facial expressions to really emphasize how you feel. You really have to put it in your volume, your tone, your words, everything. Even your laughs are different. It's very important to learn that. So I fully believe she is completely ready to go on her own. And I am very happy to say that. I love having her on my podcast. I think she makes a phenomenal co-op, and it's something she seems to enjoy. I mean, you're not that good at it. If you're not enjoying it, you aren't going to be that good at it. And she's freaking good at it. I loved it. I hope you did too. So there's your chemistry. We can check that off the list. And I'm happy to be able to finally have that one taken off the list. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful, morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever it is. I hope you have a good week. If it's that point, if you're looking at the weekend, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you have an exam coming up, arts, science, I don't care. I hope that you do wonderful. I believe in you. If you need somebody to just give you a little encouragement, you can reach out to me. I now have an email that I've dedicated to it. I realized I had an email that I've never used. My Facebook has started to super filter. So if you find me, it's Megan Opachensky. That's MEGHAN OPOC as in cat ENSKY. It's a completely public page. If you message me and I don't reply within, I'd say 2 or 3 days, because over the weekend or whatever, stuff happens. I really can't do the 1 day thing. That's unrealistic. But please, I have gone in there and I've seen things that are 2 months old and I gasp because I had no idea. Facebook started making it so it is like a super filter. And there's some that unless I click your name, I won't even see. So please, all of my stuff's public. I even have a reel or a video that's I have 2 about the NBE. Comment on it. Say, hey, I sent you a message. Have you gotten it? Just that simple. Or, hey, could you message me? I will open that and it's going to show me your message, and we will be able to, from there, start a conversation. Or send me a friend request. I'm happy to be your friend. We can network wherever you want. And another thing, I want to make another point. Again, if you send fan mail through the app, which people do, it's all good. I'm glad it's a cool thing to have available. Please understand that I only see when it says text us, I only see the last 4 digits of your number. I have 0 way to reply because that's just how they decided to make it. And I see the name you give me, no last name, so I can't even find you on Facebook like a weirdo. And also, unfortunately, unless you give me a contact email or your phone number, I have no way to contact you. And it kills me because I'm like, some people ask for notes and I'm like, yes, you can have them, but how do I get them to you? So to the one person in particular that I'm thinking of, I know you're going to hear this at some point. Please send me your emails. You can do the same thing. Just send your email that you want them sent to. Just don't reply to the email. Anybody who does this, I send a chain email to like umpteen people. Do not reply to it. Don't say thank you. You can message me back separately. You've got my email after that. Do not reply to that chain email. Deal? So anyway, so now we've got 3 ways of communication, and I will make sure that I put them in my notes, okay? So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or whatever it be. Good luck on your exams. I wish you all well. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support and continued patience, and just be well, all right? Thank you.